Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Ha ha. How's everybody tonight? I got to get through my 30 seconds, but they say there's going to be some possibly more charges coming from Jack, the tripper. He's tripping. But anyway, they say financial crimes. Isn't that something against Mr. T? Hi, cameraman. I want to say thank you. I got to give you a shout out. I didn't get a chance to catch it last night before I tuned out. So I appreciate you stopping by, buy me a coffee, and helping out with the program. So Diane's in, cameraman Leisha, Donna. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Well, Andy, no. I'll go over my thumbnail in just a minute. Dark places. What did I have on there? Dark places. Trump trials. The View got axed. Yep. We'll see how long that's going to be. No shows I heard till next year. Probably with a different cast. But anyway, Andy, no justice. He got his case. They were found not liable for Andy. No, we'll go over that in a minute. After they beat the hell out of him in the streets and cracked his skull and everything else. So anyway, I'm going to have in my thumbnail later, not for 1 second on my picture thumbnail, not for 1 second. That's what Mr. T said during one of his, what he said today during his speech in New Hampshire. He said not for 1 second did he think that election was not, as he has spelled many times, STOLLEN. So, how you doing, Rubber Toe? Outlandish. That's right, Donna, no view. I was going to put on her view blocked, but I didn't know if anybody would know what I was talking about. Hi, Ingrid, how are you? Sherry, SM, hello. Henri, thank you for the thumbs up. If you all think about it, give me a thumbs up. We'll wait for you to come back. We're not going to go anywhere. Hi, Randy. Or if you don't like the show, give me a thumbs down. Let me know something. I think my overall on the channel is 99 point something thumbs up. So I do have people give me thumbs down, and I understand. I may say stuff sometimes. Hi, Debbie King, that everybody doesn't like. But anyway, we were playing that lady that was describing to those overseas news anchors what the real story was. Hi, Melvita. Hi, Kim. Carol. Yeah, I won't miss the View either. Yeah, canceled 10 years ago. Hi, Norm. How you doing? Jersey Joe. Gloria. Hi, Marla. The spew. Bunch of old bats spewing a bunch of garbage. Let's see. Who said that? Diane. Yeah. I have been saying that. Diane, did you not see the video? Whoa, wait a minute. The video he played where Chris Miller was thanking Pence for helping with the largest military operation in the United States history. I played that clip last year in my old channel that got taken down. When I got this new channel up, I played it on the new channel last year, this channel, and I played that clip about a week ago, Diane. And I said Mike Pence was playing a role. Don't you remember? I played that clip 3 times already, so I'm a little step ahead. I like Dave. But hey, the bottom line is I'm a step ahead by a year and a half. So the whole deal with Pence is he's going to get it. They're going to be begging him to come on their shows because they don't have ratings anyway. But he's going to come on their shows and they think he's going to be singing their song, right? And he will to a certain degree. But when he gets on the stand, that's what counts. And we'll see how that goes. Hi, Miss Bender Sue. Doug, how you doing? I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I'm sorry. These chats kind of jump around, and sometimes I take my pudgy finger and knock myself out of the broadcast if I'm not careful. Hi, Mike. How you doing? So, just pat myself on the back, like I say, which is 18 inches away from a kick in the pants. But I've been saying that about a lot of people playing a role. You know, this is world-class, top-level, fifth-dimensional psychological warfare, the best of the best, like Mr. Trump said about Xi and Putin and everybody else that he's had to deal with. They're at the top of their game. So are the black cats that are going against us in this psychological warfare. They're at the top of their game too. That's how you have to spot things that people throw out that are garbage. But you also have to understand that if they're going to play a role as a baddie, they've got to do a good job of it. They've got to do a good job. They can't be halfway. So yeah, there's 2 times Mr. T really bashes people. One, if they're playing a role and he's got to make it look convincing and good. 2, if they have submitted and they're doing what they're told, which is what I think is going on with Adam Schiff and what I think is going on with Cracker Jack, Crackhead Jack. Hi, Chris. How are you? Okay, you identify as a guy with a girl's name. Okay. All right, Chris. That's the name it you go, you know. Well, I can't say I was almost going to say my name, Jiminy Crickets. When I was over in Europe, they say my name, and it's different, you know. So I'll just leave that. A little mystery for everybody. But anyway, I was talking about the lady who was giving that interview where she was saying Joe Biden's a legitimate president of a bankrupt corporation. I may have said it, I may not have, but I just want to remind, especially since I've got new subscribers now, and people poke their heads in every now and then, wondering what's going on this channel, and they're not into any of this stuff. But they are into what that woman said that Mr. T reposted and that I played on here, the woman with the orange jacket on. She said Biden was president of a corrupt corporation, a bankrupt corporation, and corrupt. But I want to remind everybody that Clarence Thomas put in one of his legal briefs that the U.S. was a bankrupt corporation. That was, 2 years ago? So, yeah, there's some evidence for that right there. But this Andy No thing, that came up just before about an hour or so. They're over there in Portland, And what Jack Posobiec put out was that they were found not liable. Okay, two characters that were doxing Andy No. And I've shown videos of Antifa chasing him down the street, catching him and beating him. We've all seen videos, or most of us seen videos, when they threw that milkshake with cement in it, cracked his, I think it was his occipital bone in his skull, and had him trapped in a restaurant. And who else knows what else they were doing to him. But Posobiec reported that the jury had reported to the judge that they were being threatened while the trial was going on. Also, one of the reporters for Post Millennium was being threatened, and they tried to get her to go in the elevator with them. And the attorney for these two characters declared in court that she was Antifa. So, hi Sharon, how you doing? Angel, how are you? So it's hey, you know, when you read those headlines, you say to yourself, how could there not have been some kind of a mistrial? How come people aren't in jail, you know? But you're not there, you can't see. But breaking, Portland and jury finds Antifa militants not liable in Andy No attack. Defense attorney declares, I am Antifa. The defendant's attorneys told the jurors that their faces will be remembered. An attorney telling the jurors that their faces will be remembered. That reminds me a similar, when Kyle Rittenhouse was on trial, when that one prosecutor took a rifle and pointed it right at the jury, and nobody even said anything. But this is a little different, you know, verbal menace, you know, menacing them. And I don't know what the extent of it. I know a judge has got a lot of power, but I tell you what, something should have been done about that. And that's not to say nothing will happen from it, will not happen from it, but you have jurors being threatened in private. They're being menaced by the defense attorney right in front of the judge. You have the attorney claiming they're Antifa too. And so what are these people supposed to do? Hi, Lone Wolf, how you doing? So how in the world could it be said that it was any kind of a fair trial? A mistrial, you know, would have been better off. I guess maybe the judge was hoping that the jury would still perform in Andy No's favor. But I did get a clip of an article that kind of gave a little bit more description what happened in the courtroom. And let's see, No filed a complaint in Portland, Oregon in 2020, claiming assault and other injuries over alleged acts of violence carried out by members of Antifa, which began in 2019. She's got to work on her spelling. She's got defend dance, D-A-N-T-S. So we'll give her a pass on that. But anyway, John Colin Hacker and Elizabeth Renee Richter had been accused by senior editor Post Millennial Andy No of assault, battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, which was argued before a civil jury for more than a week. Defendants Hacker and Richter allegedly worked as Antifa's doxers had identified no and led to a series of physical beatings on May 28th, 2021, were found by the jury on Tuesday not liable for all these claims. Oh boy. Hi, Pappy Two Bears. How you doing? And it goes on to say the defense attorney went on to say that the journalist has dirty hands. Andy No has dirty hands. She indicated that No is a, quote, doxer as well, because he uploads publicly available mugshots of Antifa affiliated individuals that have committed crimes on his Twitter account, which has over 1 million followers. So they're claiming victimhood. In addition, the defense lawyer said that since the U.S. has an unregulated internet, No needs to, quote, take responsibility for the words he says on the internet. And added that his conduct has not been pristine. She also attacked No's credibility as a journalist, despite providing the jury with no evidence of the allegations that would have discredited him, other than saying that he is a, quote, liar. So that was enough, I guess, when you've got people saying to jury members, we know where you live, we'll remember your faces. You don't know if they're coming in there with a hidden device, taking pictures, going past your house. You know, who knows what was going on in that situation. Hey, Tennessee, how are you doing? So, yeah, that's some disappointing news there. And we're going to have to see how that all shakes out. I don't know, with jury trials, according to Dershowitz, once it's over, it's over. Now, I don't know what the ramifications can be if afterwards you find out there was jury tampering or threatening. Now, that is so bizarre, because I found all these characters get on there, claim to be lawyers or advisors or all this kind of stuff, talking about Mr. T's trial, or trials in the plural. One of them had a thumbnail. I didn't click on it because I don't like getting them views. But where is it? It says Trump guilty of or involved in witness tampering. I have to find the exact words when I find the this new lawyer trying to cash in on the jump all over Trump. Trump tampers with witness, ? Trump may have just landed himself in jail. That's a video that was posted about 3 hours ago. And I really hope, I'll read some more of these YouTube videos that I've been seeing, some of the articles I've read. Boy, I tell you what, they are walking a fine line, because libel laws are very powerful. And I don't care if he puts a question mark at the end of it. He said Trump may have, that's a David Parkman show. I don't click on, he had 30,000 views in 2 hours. So people are eating this stuff up. And this poll, I don't know what to make of it. That 77% of Democrats think that Biden's DOJ is justified in charging Trump. Boy, how you doing, Finding Dory? You found yourself unsubscribed. You have to resubscribe and hit the notification bell. By the way, folks, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, or at the very least, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever moves ya. Haha. Let's see. I'm just seeing who else may have come in. How you doing, Kicking Bird? Haha. You resubscribe now, Dory. Haha. But anyway, this says 77% of Democrats back Biden's DOJ's latest indictment of Trump, 52% of independents and 69% of Republicans are opposed. So that's kind of a mixed bag there. But then again, we've been dealing with polls for decades that have been weighted heavily with one side more than the other, different. But hey, you run into people, that you've known for years or meet on the street. And they need to put him in jail. So, this media influence is extremely powerful. Hi, Chris, how are you doing? So, and that is one thing Mr. T always hammers on is the media. He said some interesting things in the last couple of speeches that he made. He said a couple of times that the tables must be turned very quickly. And I'm wondering if some of this stuff that they're coming out with isn't going to be flipped to where the deep state's actually the one on trial rather than Trump. But how that can happen without some kind of reasonable reporting by the mainstream media, I don't know how things can be flipped. He also brought out. He also brought up that Joe had depleted our oil reserves. And of course, he made note that it's not for what he's using it for. Depleting the oil reserves isn't for him to get votes in election. Of course, it's for emergencies, for our military and things like that, or disasters or things of that nature. But was a report about this energy secretary for Biden meeting with China. And Diamond Silk put that up. And she just recently did this. Met with China. Here it is. Diamond Silk. So what about this one, Republicans? Is this grounds for Biden impeachment? Biden Energy Secretary consulted with China days before Americans found out strategic reserve was drained. So one thing Trump said last week was that gas prices were going to go very high. And he wouldn't be surprised if they went up to levels of $7, $8 or even more. So, as we know, Mr. T says things that come true, right? So, for people that are thinking something's going to happen this week, next month, hey, I think we got to go through the high gas prices that are coming. So Diane says, I had a thought, military in all 50 states, EO 13848. Diane, Biden has renewed that executive order a couple of times, and he'll probably renew it again because we don't even know who's scribbling a name on those orders, So he's already renewed it a couple of times, and he'll renew it again this September. But I'm saying that Mr. T is giving us fair warning that gas prices are going to go through the roof. And that typically happens around the holiday seasons. and during the winter when people are using oil. Hi, Case. How are you doing? Hi, Wanda. Nice to see you. Case says, can you tell me what communism is? You heard about a lot. Okay. It's going on right now in a lot of places. Hi, Tyne. How are you doing? Dottie. Donna, she won't be able to tell you in the chats. That's a, well, I guess she could give you a condensed version. But I think if you put it in on DuckDuckGo, it'll come up. Let's see. Pappy says, that's right. That's what I was thinking, Pappy. Two bears, hang them higher than Haman. That's what Andrew Jackson said he was going to do with John C. Calhoun, who was a vice president and also a senator who agitated for secession in the 1840s and on up until the Civil War. But one thing Andrew Jackson said he regretted when he died. He regretted that a horse he really loved never won a certain race. And the other thing was he regretted that he never hanged John C. Calhoun. That's right, the 44th depleted our oil reserves too. But then oil got so dirt cheap, you know Trump, he's a deal maker. He went there and bought it for pennies on a dollar. Yeah, so gas is jumping up now, according to Donna and Wanda. But it's going to go. He said $7, $6, $7, $8. So, you know, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen if he said, look out for it. Hi, Ivan, how you doing? So I'm just tempering everybody as far as expectations. He does say the tables have to turn very quickly. But is he talking about these cases or new cases that may be coming up? Because what is this other article I saw? Where an FBI guy, here he is, Charles McGonigal. Have you all heard of the name F.B.I. guy named Charles McGonigal? To plead guilty to colluding with Russia after investigating Trump baselessly for Russian collusion over the 2016 election. He's pleading guilty. Has anybody ever in the chats heard of this guy's name? Charles McGonigal. McGonigal was indicted January 4th, or indicted in January on charges that included money laundering and violating U.S. sanctions. But he was also involved in the Russia deal. There's somebody, there's a bird singing. There's Art of the Squeal. Let me see. Yeah, Ivan, we're all got our fingers crossed for Cindy Powell. Now, she didn't do nothing. I put her and Rudy have been laying low until, and I put a tweet from Kid Rock up last night that I really didn't want to put up because I get in trouble for it. And it has not been reported in the news. But Dumb Onion, okay, that is the company that makes certain apparatuses. Okay, don't put it in the chats. uh, that sued Fox News and won a bunch of money. They were suing Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani, and that lawsuit's been going on for a long time. And they have a separate suit, I believe, against the Pillow Man. Okay. But they lost their lawsuit against Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani. And right after they lost that suit, Sidney Powell's been coming out, Rudy's been coming out, and Sidney Powell said she's going to file something that's going to be biblical, and we're all waiting on that. Pappy says Charlie took money from Romania. Yeah, that one cop sends for George Floyd. Tennessee remembers who McGonigal was. Well, we'll see how much time he gets. And, hey, did he cooperate? Because they got to share that money around. Remember that story I told you folks about Michael Francis, who was a big shot in the Colombo mob family in New York, where he had $6 million in a offshore account. And him and his partner in crime, of course, he would kick money back up to the mafia, believe me. And his father was a big wig in the Colombo family. But anyway, his story is he had $6 million salted away. He got in trouble for a bunch of stuff. He decided, well, I'm going to plead and I'm going to do 10 years and that's it. I'm out. And some FBI agents came to him and said, well, before we finish this plea deal up, we got to find out about this $6 million. And he was like, what are you talking about? They said, we already know, we got your partner. And he gave us his half of the bank account number. And he already told us, you got the other half of the bank account number. You give us the other half of the bank account number where the $6 million is, and we'll do this plea deal where you do 10 years and that's it. So he gives them the other half of the account number. But he thought nobody knew about that money till his friend ratted it out. Well, when he's going to court, and he's looking through pages and pages. He owned helicopters. He owned mansions. He owned fancy cars. He had money all over the place. He was doing one of the biggest mafia scams in New York City at the time. So he was looking through a list of seized assets. And he never found that $6 million. No mention of it. But it was gone. And he said one of the agents working on the case was none other than James Comey. So they spread that money around with each other. And I'll get into that, especially when we talk about Bob Mueller. A lot of people that may be playing dual roles, as a matter of fact, I'm positive they're playing dual roles. And a lot of people that we think are baddies are just baiting them in to one of the biggest traps that have ever been laid out for a worldwide criminal organization. And as far as I'm concerned, the fix was in. I did in some of my first videos a year and a half ago. The battle plan was laid out before Trump met with Putin in Helsinki, and Putin gave him the soccer ball and said, the ball is in your court. That's when Putin dropped a dime on the intelligence agencies. $400 million to Hillary's election campaign that came from Russia. Putin dropped a dime on him. 1.2 billion taken out of Russia, and he named names. That was back in what, 2018? So it's been known, and they are doing a mop-up operation. There's two things here where they're mopping them up. They're getting their cronies. They're getting up toward the ultimate puppet masters at the very top. But just as important, they're teaching this country how corrupt and rotten the system is, and the American people and the world are going to see just how vicious these people are. And we're going to find out more and more as this drama continues. And Trump is going to be having more charges leveled against him. Jack, the crackhead, his office put out something about financial crimes, and they're trying to do all that in D.C. All that stuff they're trying to do with D.C. grand juries. That's right. Sidney Powell is a JAG lawyer. More than that, she is an authorized prosecutor. And I've listened to that tape that I played for you all a number of times. And I've also cogitated on what we know, that she's an authorized prosecutor. As such, what can she do? Guess what? Jack Smith's an authorized prosecutor too. He's a special prosecutor appointed by Merrick Garland. So what can he do? He can call grand juries. Okay? He can conduct investigations. Well, guess what? Sidney Powell can do that too. Who's to say she doesn't have her own little grand jury? When she's talking about filing something, is it a motion in court to sue some company, or is it an indictment or multiple indictments? Does she have her own grand jury going on? Has she been presenting evidence? She certainly has the authority. But she doesn't have 8 letters in her name. That's right, Dirty Comey. Yes, Angela said, please smash the like button. Thank you for that. Double Odd, how are you doing? So, Sidney Powell could be working on grand juries. Who knows? Or she could file a bunch of subpoenas. Who knows? But I don't know that would be the case without something happening to get the military involved. But hey, if she says it's going to be biblical and it's going to be public, so we'll see what happens. But did you notice Mr. T was talking about? He said, "Where's Hunter?" He said that again, but he said, "Oh boy, I'll tell you about that Hunter. He was in some dark places," and that plays into just about what everybody's coming around to the notion of, that he wanted out. He wanted out. And he left that laptop on purpose. He put every bit of garbage, every bit of dirty doings that Joe has ever done on that laptop. And like Mr. T said, the guy called him 11 times, or maybe, I don't know how many times he said, but it was a lot. This was Mr. T who brought it up. And it's screaming that Hunter did it on purpose. And Mr. T just confirmed that in my mind when he said, oh, he's been in some dark places. So what has he told? What has Hunter told? And I had a video. I used to have to erase the videos so I would have more room to put more videos. But I can go get it. But you all will remember this. When Joe was giving his State of the Union and he was talking about burn pits and he was talking about his son, Bo. And he was talking about burn pits, and Nancy got up and was standing there and then started rubbing her hands together, leaning towards Joe while he was talking about the smoke coming out of these burn pits. Do you remember that, folks? You know, I don't get into that kind of stuff, but I can't deny what my own eyes see and what my ears hear. And when Mr. T says Hunter's been in some very dark places, that's the scene that popped up in my mind, was Joe Biden talking about burn pits and the smoke and the smell from the smoke, and his son Bo, and Nancy Pelosi with her claws and rubbing her claws together and smiling, stood up during the speech just for that line. Do you all remember that? I played that video, but that's what I thought when Mr. T was talking about Hunter. He also said today something I don't remember him saying. I've heard General Flynn say it. I've heard a lot of people say it. Where the bodies are buried. He said they know where the bodies are buried. He said that today. And he also said that Joe was a Manchurian candidate. Do you all remember that movie with Frank Sinatra? They've shelved that movie. They don't show it anymore. And I guess you could buy copies on eBay, but it's not for public consumption. Yes, she was rubbing her knuckles. It was creepy, Marla. Debbie said she looked like a praying mantis. Creepy witch. Churchy Joe said. But I tell you something. That reminds me. They put up that post Mr. T put up about go after me, I'll go after you. And they put that in front of the judge. Look what he's saying, what he's threatening. You know what? Was worse than that? They didn't put it because it would have been in the court record. I don't want to go out of my studio, into my studio. I don't want my show to drop off. But why didn't they put up the one he said about Nancy Pelosi? Where he said, I haven't been as nasty as I could be. This is paraphrasing. But since she's being nasty towards me, saying I look like a scared puppy, I'm going to go ahead and say what I got to say. And he said she was a wicked witch. And her husband, the wording he used was odd. That he came from hell. His journey, how do you put that? His journey from hell began and will end with Nancy. His journey from hell. I thought that was very weird. I'll see if I can find it. But he said that she was evil and that basically she could rot in hell for all he cared. Why didn't they put that in front of the judge? To find that. I'm getting close. I'll see if I can find that. But that they didn't want that to be part of the court record. But that was a lot worse than him saying, "Hey, if you come after me, I'll come after you." But what he said about Nancy was very strong, and about Nancy's husband. And the other thing that he tweeted out too that they didn't put in the record, they're feeling intimidated. Well, he was talking about how filthy and disgusting DC was. And he's a number of times in a little press conferences he had with Umbrella and on the Truth Social that there would be a federal takeover of DC. He said it more than once. And I think that is to get out to the public when they do take over DC and when they do start arresting people. Because he said he was going to do Schedule F when he came in. Schedule F. That's just going to be whacking and axing all the deadweight, all the crooks, all the criminals that heretofore you couldn't get rid of them. They were in there administration after administration after administration, like termites and subversive communists. No matter who was the president, you had to deal with these institutionalized bureaucrats. So when he institutes Schedule F, will be when he does a federal takeover of Washington, D.C. And here's where he said it again. No way can I get a fair trial, even close to a fair trial in Washington, D.C. There are many reasons for this, but just one is that I'm calling for a federal takeover of this filthy and crime-ridden embarrassment to our nation. Where murders have just shattered the all-time record, other violent crimes have never been worse, and tourists have fled. The federal takeover is very unpopular with potential area jurors, but necessary for safety, greatness, and for the world, all the world, to see. Oh, somebody else followed me on Truth Social. I'm way over up 200 and some followers. I used to have like 20. But anyway. Yeah, what was Chris Christie doing over there in Ukraine? Might have had some borscht. That's right, Dottie. Foreign country, DC takeover. He's going to be getting rid of the city-state status, which was created under the Treaty of 1871. And somebody, where'd it go? Talk about where he said, don't call Chris Christie a fat pig. You're not supposed to say he's a fat pig. He's eating. He didn't call him a fat pig. He said, no, don't call him a fat pig. He's eating. Where'd that go? I saw that comment. Anyway, yeah, he got it. I can't find it. He got to dig in on Krispy Kreme Christie. Oh, there it is. Diane said he. A biblical storm taking out DC is going to be DJT, and they know it. So I wanted to find that one. Oh, gosh, here's something else I meant to bring up in my other broadcast. It's a big deal, I think. And I was talking about this reversing this lawfare to turn that cannon around right in their face. And I was hoping Andy No would be one of the ones, but hey, he was having his trial in Portland, and they just ate him alive. But you all, I'm sure a lot of you know this. Elon Musk put out an X saying, if you were unfairly treated by your employer due to posting or liking something on this platform, we will fund your legal bill. No limit. Please let us know. So, hey, anybody that's listening to this broadcast, if you got treated unfairly, just what he said, he'll pay your legal bills to sue. If you're unfairly treated by your employer due to posting or liking something on his platform, we will fund your legal bill. No limit. Please let us know. If you have any friends or family members that got disciplined or something put in their file or their hours cut back or anything like that, there's an open invitation to sue their eyeballs out of their heads. Hi, Karen. How are you doing? MS Motorsports, how are you? So the other thing that Mr. T brought up, I didn't know the extent of this till today's speech. He said he fired 10,000 people from the VA, from working in the VA health services. And he said most of them were sadists and drug addicts. And he said, out, all of you. He said 10,000. He said, it sounds like a lot, but they got thousands working there. And he said that Joe is going to be bringing a bunch of them back with back pay at a cost of over $200 million to us, just to undo what Trump did. And Trump said, we were very careful when we fired these people. We made sure we had the goods on them, that they did things that were brutal. They stole drugs. They from VA, from veterans that needed their pain pills and everything else, or they beat them, or they caught them treating patients in a sadistic manner. He said every one of those people we fired deserved it. And he said now Biden wants to bring more than half of them back and give them a big fat check for sitting on their rear end since Trump fired them. Tennessee said, hey, Christy's not fat, but his bathroom scales do shake, shiver, and pray when he walks by the door. Well, when he gets on the scale, it says one at a time, one at a time. He's got to butter his hips getting a cab. But anyway, I thought I didn't know that that he had fired that many people. And he's pointing out that all these veterans that are in need of medical attention, and they're dumping millions of dollars into people that are trying to, quote, transition. And this wasn't in Trump's speech, but I was listening to a podcaster. If somebody signs up for a 4-year stint, and I've already seen a number of TikTok videos, podcasts, where they're bragging that they signed up just to get that treatment. So out of a 4-year stint, they have got in Texas an army base that they've turned into a spa just for transitioning. An army base in Texas. And out of that 4 years, they may have 6 months where they can be considered fit for full duty. The rest of the time is psychological evaluations and counseling and hormone therapy and actual surgery and recovery. And like Trump said today, hey, the way it used to be, if you took anything more than aspirin, chances are you weren't fit for duty. And they want to allow this and pay for it while we've got veterans that are not receiving care, skyrocketing suicide rate, homeless veterans, all these problems that we're having with veterans. And they have a spa in Texas for them to transition. So, yeah, it's hard not to get, but something like that, there are people that don't even understand. I read an article where 40%, and if we got anybody in the United Kingdom, maybe they can verify this. 40% of the people in the United Kingdom did not know that transgender women started out as men. Where is that? I got to find that article. I found this article, 12th grade boys, this is from Fox News, becoming more conservative as girls trend overwhelmingly liberal. That's going to create a division. You know, we're supposed to get them to get along so people can have grandkids, for crying out loud. But anyway, the media is so powerful. And you saw that in the interview I played for Sky News, where the guy was talking about Trump being a tyrant and destroying our democracy on the one channel, and where the lady was giving the interview describing Trump really knowing what's going on, not wanting to cause a civil war. That character that was interviewing her said, "Oh, but President Trump is about as believable as a chocolate teapot." You know, so the narrative is fine-tuned, and it's all around the world. These talking points that are handed out, where the Mockingbird media is singing the same song word for word, is worldwide. And how we're going to get over that, get around that, I don't know. So hopefully, if this trial is televised, and Adam Schiff is strangely enough pushing for it, if they don't televise it, we're going to be hearing stuff through a media filter. We're not going to get the real story. They'll do everything to increase this BS line that Trump is evil and destroying democracy, blah, blah, blah. So it's going to have to be televised, and I'm thinking to look for it. I don't see any Andrew. How you doing, Andrew? Chocolate teapot. So yeah, let me see if I can find that article. 40% have no idea that they think, oh well, women that were born with something, we need to help them with or something. They don't realize it's men going, hey, I got to get in the right body. Let me see what everybody's doing in the chats. All right, Andrew, you from down under? I don't know. I have I went and looked at the how many people, different countries. We've had them from Japan and of course Canada, United Kingdom, and Australia watching this channel, and of course the United States, and like I said, Japan. What else? But this time around, somebody from Antigua and Barbuda. I said, oh my gosh. So if you're out there from Antigua and Barbuda, hello, howdy, how you doing? And everybody here in chat says hello to you. Ah, Andrew's from down under. All right. So anyway, folks, I gone over my hour. The thing I guess we're all sitting on pins and needles about is Sidney Powell. Because she's been totally quiet. Am I wrong about that? Has anybody heard up until now? Has anybody heard anything of substance out of Sidney Powell for months and months? And I think they gave a little talking to Lynn Wood because he's quieted down some. And Rudy, he's been doing his U-Tizzle channel. Nobody's paying attention to him. But now he's coming on strong. They say he's going to be charged with Eastman as a co-conspirator, a conspiracy to overthrow the government. Marla said she disappeared and now she's back. Yeah, she may have been doing some legal work down there in Cuba. So we shall see. So when she did come back, she dropped this. I'll say the news reporter did kind of squeeze it out of her. But for her to say, we're going to be filing something that's going to be biblical, that's a big thing for her to say. She's very careful with her words. So anyway, folks, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. And I'll be going live maybe tomorrow. I don't know. This is a viewer supported creative support channel only. I got a link for buying me a coffee in the description if anybody wants to help the channel out. Like I said, I didn't catch Camperman. I thanked him earlier in the broadcast in Tennessee in here also. I want to thank you for helping support the channel. The show last night, and Lone Wolf, Norm. This week was David and different people. I appreciate it very much. So y'all have a great evening, and please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. So you all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.